I'm Brian Kelly. I spent 17 years as a National Web Advisor to universities. Since 2020, I've been an advisor for the Morris Federation. When I joined the Morris Federation, the president asked me to get Morris to the top of Google. Census surveys showed the reason for this. Morris dancers are getting older. Currently, almost a quarter of the dancers are over 70. There's a need to promote traditional dance to younger audiences, those who may search differently. Digital work for the Fed has focused on enhancing the online visibility of the Morris Federation website. This has a lot of valuable content, many incoming links, and has high SEO rankings. In addition to this, it was important to monitor IT developments. This includes AI developments such as ChatGPT and making use of my expertise in metadata from when I worked. In January 2023, I gave a talk on what was then new, the ChatGPT tool. However, I concluded it was too soon to recommend it for content creation, but I felt it would be potentially valuable for enhancing search. It seemed clear to me that Google would have to respond to ChatGPT and would invest significant development effort into this. Let me mention the challenges users may face. I recently used DuckDuckGo to search for Find Morris teams near me. What I found was information on how to find Morrison's stores. There were various reasons for this which informed my planning. Morrisons invest in SEO. We don't have such funds, but we have a community who will do the right thing. Here's an example of a success in the work. This is an example of a query a student might ask after arriving at university, or perhaps a friend might ask if the student is shy. And because the person who will be trying this knows about conversational queries, they might ask a follow-up question. You can imagine questions people may ask. Many people know that such queries aggregate content from a variety of sources and also provide links to the sources. In this case, they can see links to Facebook and BBC pages, including videos. Before joining, you'd probably like to see a video. Many of the sites during the Morris Federation's 50th anniversary provided not only videos but also rich descriptions about the sites and relevant hashtags. Traditional sites can probably learn a lot about use of digital technologies from student sites such as Ramshackle Morris from York University. In 2023, I wrote about GEO. Generative engine optimization is responsible for no-click results in Google results. I also described how to provide answers to questions such as, I have no money, how much will joining cost? Another possible concern may be, you're gay and don't know if you'll be accepted by the team. Note hashtags need to be designed. In the past, people thought that you just chose the obvious one, such as #RapperSword. If you try that, you might find something to do with sword play, sword fighting, or about rap as in music. This is not what is needed. The obvious hashtags aren't necessarily the correct hashtags to use. #RapperSword can be interpreted in different ways. It can mean rapper and sword, or it could spot two other words, rappers and word. Of course, words are what rap artists do. So this could find a page with Kanye West. The rapper's words are anti-Semitic. This is not what people will be looking for if they're interested in the RapperSwordDance. We know that rap artist is more popular than the niche rapper sword dancing. It's also more popular in generative search, such as people using Google Gemini. We need to make plans on effective hashtags and encouraging widespread use of hashtags. Here's a better hashtag. It has three components, rapper, sword and dance. This works more effectively in generative search. This means it can find content using just one of the words. Here's an example. The search found two possible pubs and a link to one of them, and you'll find that that is based on a review of the pub after we danced there. The review contained the relevant information about the dance, the team and the hashtag. All sides should promote their side and their dance in places besides the obvious profiles, because we want to promote the RapperSwordDance and also the good pubs we visit. Let me explain what this means. This is based on generative hashtags which define key concepts about the side, the name, the dance tradition, the kit, the history, maybe the side's culture, and so you can search on those concepts rather than keyword, find videos, how do I join the side, and similar queries. If you provide a sufficient content, the context can be understood. By understood in AI, this means patterns are matched. This is why if rapper teams agreed to use #RapperSwordDance and provide rich content, they may be found using a variety of queries. Queries such as, Who was the rapper side wearing red breeches? This approach can be used with hashtags for other dance styles. During the Morris Fed's 50th anniversary, we made short videos. The videos contained descriptions and hashtags. The videos had an impact for a short period, but it was hashtags and descriptions which have relevance today. Relevancy can be used to find things today. Notice how comprehensive the YouTube description is, including a meaningful title. It's intended mainly for algorithms, not users. It will also be useful for historians and for your archive in 10 years' time. Information providers for team profiles need to understand the approaches they should use. So you may follow the advice, but others may feel they have a website or Facebook pages and that's all that's needed. Or they feel the hashtags are only needed in social media and that they're not case sensitive. This used to be true, but it's no longer. What we want is for people to be able to say, I now understand how generative search works. To understand developments, here's a simple conceptual model of Gemini. It's not a truth machine, it's a probability engine. The probability that useful answers will be provided increased if it has a large amount of content and structured data using hashtags. Another conceptual model, the web, has changed. In the 2000s, we treated the web as a collection of pages with search engines and URLs to find information. Now we can regard the web as a distributed database with content and concepts identified by the structure or inferred by context. Old search still works, but new search is better. Here's another illustration. You know about input and output parts, but behind the scenes are where these search engines interpret the query, look at the data they have, look for the key concepts, aggregate relevant content before it provides answers. This is very different from traditional search when we looked for matches using keywords. Reflect on the image. Nowadays, answers for over 60% of search queries are viewed on Google, the so-called no-click search results. The image shows how tools like Gemini now work. These approaches can help make responses more accurate. People may say, oh, you can't trust AI answers, they're hallucinations. It's good to be skeptical, but you can say in a conversational query, really, and cite the sources, and go on from that to say, I'll provide accurate, comprehensive information for my dance side. I discovered recently that rail companies use Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG files, to contain key information about timetables and delays. The information is used by help desks and is also processed by search engines. Try this query and see what you may find. And imagine if we use this approach for Morris and SwordDance information. If those RAG files are hosted on the Morris Federation website, higher priority would be given to them rather than what people may have said on social media. We can expect much more use of such search technologies in various areas, and now we know how to use it for our hobby. Phase 1 I've shown. Phase 2 is simply getting more sites to provide their content and use the content in more places, such as on their social media posts. But Phase 3, which is interesting, might be to provide search interfaces in multiple places. Here's a mock-up of a University of Sheffield student page. It might have a page to say, search for Morris and SwordDance teams in Sheffield and nearby locations. Or information could be provided on a tourist information website. Use of a new development, vibe coding, to develop such innovations is being explored. But for this to be worthwhile, we need much more content available. This includes the side descriptions and the hashtags which allow content to be aggregated. To conclude, we are addressing the challenges of the ageing profile of sites by making effective use of digital technologies, understanding recent developments, understanding how young people find resources, and looking into opportunities provided by further developments. Thank you for watching. I hope it has been useful. If you have questions, you can leave comments below, or send email to comms-it@morrisfed.org.uk.